Hi, Science Darlings. All right, Dr. Greg, Mr. Finks here. We are going to do a little intro with the Rock Cycle Lab. So we're going to be a little pausing and the magic of video, I guess.
All right.
And then, and then we'll jump to places. So here, let me flip this around.
Hi. So here's what you'll have on your bench when you start the Rock Cycle Lab. Rubber mallet, crucible tongs for picking up hot stuff. All the gear goes in your basket. We have a plastic tin for cold water when we do the quench in step 4. And we've got a hot plate. Careful with the hot plate, that whole top will be hot. All that will be in your spot to begin with.
And you will come with your own Rock. That's
handout.
right, handout. So each have there. You're going to be working in groups of
4.
4. So have 2 on each side. And then, yeah. So then that will be half of the materials that is on your sheet right here. The other half are at the front over here.
Okay,
So
here's what you'll pick up. So each individual in the group will need one color. And so each group member should have a different color, half of a crayon. Each group member should have a sharpener. It helps to have the sharpener case, catch all that stuff. Each person in the group should have one of each. So different color crayon, a sharpener, and a piece of paper. Each group gets one piece of tin foil. All that goes back to your lab setup right here. So we've got tin foil, piece of paper, and my crayon.
all right, I'm going to pause here. We're going to magically jump to where everybody's set up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we have our setup where Mr. Finks is one lab member here, and then I've got my setup over here, and then we've got lab member 3 and 4 is going to be set up here. And what you can see, he is doing part A, where we are going to weather, erode, and deposition. So in nature, rocks are broken down by the forces of nature. In the simulation, the crayons represent the rocks. So each of these crayons represent a different rock. So he's got a red rock, I've got a green rock, and we've got a yellow rock and a blue rock. And the pencil sharpener represents the weathering, so here's a pencil, of wind, ice, and rain that causes the rocks to break down into smaller pieces called sediment. So he is breaking down those little pieces. And sometimes if they're like this here, you might want to just kind of break them a little bit more. Use your hand to also weather them even smaller. But you're going to weather them down into, and you're going to keep going until it's about halfway done because you're going to need a lot of it. So you're going to keep going, but we're just going to probably stop pretty soon. But you're going to keep weathering, get them really tiny, and you're also going to kind of try to pile them up here in the middle, kind of squish it in the middle. All right. So step 2, you're weathering your rock. You're using a pencil sharpener to shave your crayons into small pieces. Every group member should have a different color. Collect the shavings on a paper towel. Each person should have your own paper towel with your own colors on it. Be as neat as you can. You don't want to have all the shavings everywhere. Shave your crayon as far down as you can with the pencil sharpener. It's not necessary to weather the entire crayon, but you want a good pile. Make sure you're cleaning up all the excess crayon shavings in the trash. So as you can see he's taking all the paper away. We don't want the paper because the paper is not part of our rock. It's not going to melt together like we want. So you're going to make sure that you don't have that. So we're going to throw that away. And then once you have, I'm going to magically pause this real quick.
Here we go.
Right, and we're back. Magically. So a couple of things that we found too, Mr. Finks and I saw. If you press too hard, it will kind of jam and kind of break in there, and you'll get like this stuck in there. Paper clip. He came up with this. Good job, Mr. Finks. My trusty paper clip. It's like a MacGyver.
Yes.
Okay, then just take your paper clip and then just pull out that clog right there, and then you're good. But you'll see I've got a nice pile here. You're gonna want to keep that pile pretty close together. So we have weathered now. This is weathering. Have we eroded yet?
No.
No, we have not eroded. That is what we're going to do next. And so that is where you're going to take your lovely aluminum foil. I like to fold it in half to make it thicker because then the next steps are going to be stumping and then putting it in the heat. It just makes that extra layer. So keep it 2 layers thick. You'll see we kind of fold it. So 2 layers thick here, and we're going to erode. So once your rock fragments have been created, they're usually moved by some force of nature, by gravity, water, or wind. That is erosion. We are moving. Though they're eventually going to come to rest, and that's going to be called deposition. So you are going to be the force of erosion and then ultimately deposition. So I'm going to erode mine. So I'm carrying mine, eroding. Look at this. Eroding. Woo! And then I'm going to deposit gently. Like I don't know if you saw that very well. Deposit nicely in a pile. Look at that. I eroded. So my rock was eroded. And then your next partner would do the same thing. He is going to take his, and he would take it, eroding, look at that, eroding, woo! And then deposit it right there on top of there in a pile. And again, you're gonna have more of this. You're gonna use as much as you can. We just kind of cut it. And then you have your third and your fourth crayon would do it, and you'd make 3 different piles there. So we have eroded. That is step 4 and 5. I just jumped ahead. The colors are gonna be mixed together. Don't mix the piles separately because that's not what happens in real life. You're making those nice pretty layers because what type of rock are we trying to make? We are making sedimentary rock. Yes. All right, so now we're going on to the sedimentary rock, which is part B. And so unfortunately we can't really simulate cementation, but we can simulate compaction. So we're only gonna do the compaction. But so all your crayon shavings should be in the center of your square right here. Try to put it as center as you can. What you're gonna do is you're gonna fold this over. And again, like keep it as centered as possible here. Fold it over, like here, like such. All right, and then you're going to put it on the floor carefully. Be careful that you don't tip this around because you haven't really folded the others. But you're going to put it carefully over here, come to the side, put it on the floor. And then one of your group members, you're going to step on it with all your weight for 3 minutes. You're going to step and hold. You're not going to be stomping because it's not what really happens in real life. Remember that you're putting layer upon layer and you're putting more pressure and just stomp and hold it. Make sure somebody else in your group is going to be using your timer for 3 minutes. Did we say yes, 3 minutes? And then when you're still there, you're gonna take your nice rubber mallet.
Science.
Yes. And then you're going to get down here and you're going to hammer it. So be really careful that you're not like slamming it. You don't need to be like making a mess. But just kind of pound and add that extra compression there. So we're pounding there. You're gonna do that, I don't know, a few times, maybe 5 times, something like that. And then you're going to carefully open or let's take it off the floor. All right, you take it off the floor, bring it back carefully because you don't want to make it, and then you're going to open it up and then see what it looks like. Now, it's not going to look proper right now because we didn't do the full 3 minutes and we didn't hammer it.
Yeah.
So, but you're going to get the idea. So you open it up and then you've made your sedimentary rock. Yay, good?
There's some observation spaces in the lab, I think.
Yes. Oh, yes. So as you go, I should have probably been saying that too. So during the lab, you're going to be kind of observing and kind of filling in as you go. Yes, good point. All right, then you're going to make your metamorphic rock. So in order to create our metamorphic rock, part C, you're going to put it under extreme heat and pressure. Remember, that's those extra heat, extra pressure. Pressure alone is just going to get your sedimentary rock. Heat alone is going to make magma. But if you put heat and pressure together, that's where you're gonna get your metamorphic rock. So this is where you're gonna do here. You're gonna rewrap your foil. So rewrap it, put it back together. I also kind of pinch the sides. I kind of fold them in like this here, just to kind of make sure it doesn't ooze out. So fold it in here. And then you're gonna rewrap your folder, pinch the sides so that your crayons can't fall out. You're gonna be really careful with this part. You're gonna use your crucible tongs. Right now you don't need them, but crucible tongs, you're gonna move them and you're gonna put them directly on your plate for 8 seconds. Be very careful of this hot plate because the hot plate is hot. Hence its name. And you can't tell that it's hot. So just assume that it is always hot. 8 seconds, take it off carefully. Be careful that you don't take it off and you're not pouring it this way and this way, or you're not flinging it around. It is hot. If that's hot, the aluminum foil and the stuff inside is gonna be hot, so be careful. All right, take it off of here, and then take the foil. Okay, so we had a little malfunction there. We had to stop, and then we're gonna piece it together. So we've taken it off the hot plate. It was 8 seconds there. Take it directly onto the floor, and then have somebody stomp on it again. And that went again for 2 minutes. And then, or stomp on it, press on it again. Don't stomp, press. And then you're going to take it out, observe what you see again. That's your metamorphic rock. Then you're gonna go to part D, which is where you're going to melt it into magma and then form your igneous rock. So this is where you've got here, we are going to use this nice beautiful bucket here because we're using a lot of bigger space here. So fill this up with water, and it should be probably already filled here, so be careful. You don't want to have the water everywhere. So you're going to rewrap your foil nice and tight, just the way that we did together before. And now you're going to place it on the hot plate for 20 seconds. So not 8, 20 seconds. Use your stopwatch, 20 seconds. Remember, we're melting it, right? We're melting it back into magma here. And then at 20 seconds, you're going to immediately take it and you're going to move it over. I would even probably have your bucket over here, probably easier, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So have your bucket near here. So I would immediately take off, dump it, submerge it right into the water. Remember that this is how we're forming that lava. We've got that immediate change to make when it's exposed to water, which is going to make it what type of rock? Exclusive. Igneous rock. So we're dumping it straight into the water, immediate change. Now we've created our igneous rock. And then when you're done there, once it's cooled, you can take it out. Make sure it's all cooled. Take it out, open it up, and see your beautiful igneous rock. There. And then I think you've made all your rocks, and you went through the whole rock cycle, and now it's time to clean up. That's it.
Fantastic.
Anything else we need to add?
Making sure you're making observations every time you make a different type of rock. Fill in the observation form on the back of the lab report.
There we go.
Great.
All right, we're gonna have some fun. All right, thanks.